Hi, my name is Joanne Lowitzer. um, for those of you that have not seen any of my videos yet, I have a missing child. My daughter Allie, this is her. My daughter Allie has been missing for 15 years from Spring, Texas. This video is and isn't about her directly. It's hard to know where to start. And if y'all have watched my videos before, you know I'm gonna get emotional. So recently there was a case that, let's see if I can explain this. Skeletal remains were found several years ago, and more than 3 years ago, and no DNA was taken. So the partial remains were processed by the medical examiner and just stored. Now, I'm not giving all the details because the details for this video are not important. What is important is those remains are they're somebody's child. They're somebody's loved one. So all of you that have seen my videos or help support other families that have missing loved ones, you're always asking how you can help. Well, I'm coming on here to ask you for help. 3 years ago, a little more than 3 years ago, I believe, there was a friend, Alice Almendarez. Her and another family, Mr. Fritz, they came together with their state representative, Lacey Hull, and created the John and Joseph's Law. It is, what is it? It's Texas House Bill 1419. And I will try to post a link to this video. So I need your help because this law, as wonderful as it is, does not help any of the John and Jane Does from previous years. So, for example, the case that I mentioned, where the remains were found, we now know who it is, but we would have known who it is a long time ago if the medical examiner's office would have processed DNA. They processed no DNA. So what I want to ask for help for is, or what I want to see happen is, I want the John and Joseph Law, I want some type of amendment or addition to it. I don't know the legal terminology for it. I want this to help the older cases that DNA was never taken, and there are so many. Now, the John and Joseph Law is just for Texas. I don't know why it's not nationwide. It needs to be. I know Alice was trying to push for that. So what I need help with is I need to put together the verbiage to submit for an addition to the John and Joseph law. And it needs to be really well written so that it can be presented and hopefully passed to where where whoever has the remains will start taking DNA from these remains and processing them and entering them into NamUs. So I didn't know until I started reading up that NamUs, Texas is only one of 12 states to pass laws mandating the use of NamUs. So NamUs isn't even required for the entire country, which blew my mind again. So I took some pieces of some articles that I read, and I just want to read some of it so you'll get a better idea, because I'm not, if you've seen my other videos, I'm not very good about getting the thoughts out of my head. So I did write it down. So the John and Joseph's law in Texas it requires law enforcement agencies, justices of the peace, and medical examiners in the state of Texas to use NamUs. It's a national database to solve missing and unidentified persons cases. So NamUs, if you don't know what it is, it stands for the National Missing and Unidentified Persons System. And it was created to help investigators and families solve cases by entering forensic details into the database. And the case that I had mentioned was also a NamUs case, but there was no DNA. And that missing child's family had submitted DNA when their child went missing. So this particular case could have been solved years ago and prevented. It prevented all of the anguish that this family went through searching for their missing child. Now, I have a really bad habit of putting myself into other families' shoes. And the thought of my daughter, Allie, being a Jane Doe for 15 years, to say it breaks my heart is nothing compared to what I'm feeling. So just because a person goes missing in one city or state doesn't mean that they're not found somewhere else. And that's a problem as well. So that's why this needs to happen. And I really need everyone's help that wants to help. If y'all could message me if you know of any other states that have laws about entering DNA for unidentified persons found or remains found. If you could send me links to either of those laws or where to find the information, because I have several families that really need this, including me. So a little bit more that I printed in 2020, before the law passed, 106 NamUs missing person cases were created across the state of Texas. And this article is a couple of years old. After the law went into effect, the cases entered more than doubled to 221 in Texas. So far, 191 Texas cases have been created. And this is a couple of years old, so I'm sure the numbers are bigger. For unidentified bodies in 2020, 58 cases were created in the database across the state. After the law passed, 33 cases were created. So far in 2022, 60 cases have been entered into NamUs. Unclaimed persons cases didn't see much of a change. Last year, and this is a couple of years old, last year 21 cases were created. So far this year, 24 cases have been created or entered into the database. So that tells us that John and Jane Does are constantly being added into, and this is just for Texas, they're constantly being added into the system. So what else did I write? So I need some help from you. If anyone can find or already know of laws that require all DNA to be collected and processed and entered into NamUs. NamUs is a very important part of this whole thing, because I want to have this bill amended. And I live in Texas, so of course I'll start with Texas. So something needs to happen. I don't know if in your state, if you've ever looked at how many John and Jane Does you have. If you haven't, maybe look them up and see. But what I'm asking is, I want this law to be amended, and I need some help. So if you could, you can even Google Texas House Bill 1419 and read it. So what I want to see done is for this law to be retroactive and help get these John and Jane Doe cases into the DNA. I want DNA taken and entered into NamUs. And if you've ever been affected by a missing loved one, you're going to want to help with this. And I'm begging for some help. So this is my daughter, Allie. And I hope and pray that she's not a Jane Doe somewhere. So if you want to help, or you have the information that would help us make the verbiage to write this amendment, please message me. Please reach out to me. Give us some guidance, and it's greatly appreciated. If everyone's asking how they can help, this is how you can help. And you don't have to be in Texas to help. That's just where I am. So I hope you will share this and talk about it and do all the things so we can see this happen. Thank you all so much. Thank you so much.